Today on the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network, our topic is land sales and land prices. Talking with us today is Randy Dickhut, Senior Vice President of Real Estate Operations for Farmers National Company. Randy, thanks for being with us. How are you doing today?
Doing great, Brent.
Tell us more about your role with Farmers National Company and just some of the work you do on a day-to-day basis, Randy.
I work to support our farm managers and real estate agents out across the 30 different states that we do some real estate or farm management work in. And I head up our real estate and appraisal area and oversee plan development, supporting our agents, supporting our appraisers as they work to meet the needs of those sellers and buyers and clients who need the appraisals.
Well, like we said, land sales and land prices is our topic here today. And you all just put out a news release this week talking about the land sales reaching new levels for your company. Can you just go back for us and describe to the listeners what we saw there at the tail end of 2021?
Yeah, it was definitely a busy time for all, farmland brokers, and especially so in Iowa. Iowa was kind of the focus of that was leading land prices up, it seemed like, and the amount of land that got sold. There's definitely more sales activity. We as a company had a huge increase in the amount of auctions we had. That October through December timeframe at the end of 2021 compared to the previous year, because we were coming off about 3, 4, or 5 years of just kind of steady to lower amount of land for sale on the market. And then through 2021, it was still on that slower side, but as it got into summer, it started to pick up the activity and the selling interest, which brought a lot more on. And part of that selling interest was prices were going higher on the land. And also there was the potential for some tax law changes that prompted people who thought about selling to go ahead and sell sooner than later.
I thought it was interesting reading that last part you were mentioning about the assumed potential changes in tax laws affecting some of those sales. Did that come as a surprise to your group when you're seeing these numbers come in?
We've seen it before. That happened basically in 2012 also, when there was some threat of tax law changes or anticipation of it. And so it prompted, again, those recent inheritors or a family group that inherited that farm, it's had it several years, and then they decide that, well, maybe we're going to sell it, and then maybe we should sell it now, just have that bird in the hand, so to speak. So it happens periodically, whatever that tax law change might be or potential. So people try to outfigure that.
So as we look forward now at land prices, are we seeing an increase in those prices? And if so, what are some of the causes of that?
Yeah, we've last gradually the year before, and then really picked up steam, especially in that last part of 2021. The good cash flows that the farmers have had over the past couple years, in 2020 and in 19 and a little bit into 2021, it was the increased government price or support payments that they received from either trade mitigation or from COVID reasons and stuff. So that put more cash into farmers and landowners' hands. And then low interest rates always support real estate prices, like we see in the residential market also. And then just overall, better commodity grain prices specifically help those farmer incomes. So we're seeing a continuation here in the first part of the 2000s or 2020s now, of higher farm income than we've had on the average in the past, and that's being reflected in the in land values.
So what's that land market look like for the rest of this year? Are you expecting it to still be active like we saw at the tail end of last year?
That's a good question. Get the crystal ball out. But we see, normally this January to March auction and land sales season slows down somewhat from the previous fall. That's just the normal as people try to get a farm sold or bought before planting time, but usually a little less sold overall during this quarter than the previous each year. But I think it's a lot of sales got pushed into the last quarter of last year for those reasons we talked about, and now there's a little less of that. And so the amount of sales are back to more average right now. But we're seeing good, strong prices. But I think that will also probably moderate, as people's attention turn to upcoming planting season and the crop season. But, they've made a real push. I think land prices will be steady to somewhat firmer going ahead in the next 6 months or so.
Randy, really appreciate the time and the insight today. How can our listeners stay connected with your group and some of the work that you do?
Well, they can go to farmersnational.com, our website, look for the land for sale, what it's being sold for, and to keep up on some of the land market news.
Thanks for the time, Randy. Hope we can do it again sometime.
Okay. Thank you, Brent. Have a good day.
Again, that's Randy Dickhut, Senior Vice President of Real Estate Operations for Farmers National Company here on the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network.